the creating of Butterscotch Sundae. The lengths are cut, I stack them together before creating the rows. Using onyx and marble, it looks like a candy store. And then back to cutting to make sure I have enough stone to create my rows. I count up all of the material that I have, cut extra if I need, stack them all together, and then one by one assembling each one to see if I like the pattern that I'm putting together. And then, once again, back to cutting. I guess I needed more material. In this case, a beautiful green onyx. After all the stone is cut, I then assemble my rows. I have to figure out the patterns. I lie everything out flat. After I've made sure that I have all the excess materials that I need to assemble my rows, all the pieces are then grinded flat on a diamond wheel to make sure that when they're glued together that they fit perfectly. As you can see here, I am gluing the slabs together and creating my rows. I had a special machine made just for this, so that when I lay out my different slabs, I can then put glue in between, compress them together using a clamp, get out all that extra glue, and make sure I keep it flat at the same time. Well, I just hope it works. It's very crucial that everything be done perfectly, or it won't work. I have to make sure it's flat, and now get all the glue out. I had this machine made especially to do this. This process is repeated over and over again until all the rows have been glued together successfully. I then assemble all the different rows together to make sure that my pattern looks right and that the pieces fit one on top of the other with no apparent problems. After this, each row will have to be grinded flat, top and bottom, in order for the stack to be perfectly aligned and glued together in a good fit. It's a lot of fun, like being in a candy store where I'm stacking all kinds of translucent stones, pink onyxes, orange calcites, pink Portuguese marble, green onyx. I love all of these colors and flavors. They reminded me of the butterscotch sundaes I'd eat as a little girl. Once I've stacked the stones, I then take them apart and I glue each row on top of each other. It takes a couple of days to do this properly. Now, the assembled marble and onyx block is ready to be cut. The next step is to rough the shape out. All the sides are cut. I will use pneumatic air hammers, chisels, and grinders to finish the roughing out. Using the die grinder to undercut into the stone, which will help me to create shadow and bring the forms together. So when the light hits the piece, it will spread itself evenly over the whole surface. Cutting out all of the negative space that needs to be cut out, making the fabric more and more delicate. Using a micro die grinder to do the very detailed fine work, cutting it away with wheels and points, all kinds of interesting diamond tools. Still a lot of rough work needs to be carved in. The forms of the bow, the lines in the front of the piece, the hollows inside the sleeves. As you can see, under the dress has not been carved yet. What the file will do is give me an even surface before I begin to polish. It will also bring the surface together so that the light bouncing off of the dress will be even and spread itself across the piece. This takes weeks and weeks of work to complete, up to 3 months just for completing this one piece. But as I get towards the end of this journey, and I bring the grits of the sandpaper higher and higher to bring out the color of the stone, the colors show the pink is pinker, the orange more orange, the white more translucent. At the very end of the work, the colors are showing through. It's such an exciting feeling to see it all come out together. The work is complete. My job is over. I will move on to another. Butterscotch Sundae now has a life of its own.